The rise of a new king. Uzziah, also known as Azariah, was the 10th ruler of Judah, and his journey is truly fascinating. He ascended the throne at just 16 years old, following the death of his father, Amaziah, during a time of national unrest. Imagine a teenager suddenly placed in charge of a nation facing deep crisis. The Bible dedicates considerable space to Uzziah's story, highlighting both his remarkable achievements and his tragic downfall due to pride. And that's something we can all learn from, isn't it? His life story is primarily recorded in 2 Kings 15 and 2 Chronicles 26 to 27. Uzziah's path was a rollercoaster of spiritual leadership, national prosperity, and a sobering lesson about the dangers of arrogance. Let's walk through it together. A 16-year-old takes the throne. When Uzziah became king, Judah was going through both political chaos and spiritual confusion. His father, Amaziah, had been murdered in a conspiracy, leaving the kingdom unstable. But amidst the disorder, young Uzziah stood out for his spiritual zeal early in his reign. He sought the Lord's guidance by visiting the temple and consulting the priest Zechariah. That move laid the foundation for a reign rooted in divine values. Just imagine, a teenager turning to God's wisdom to lead his people. But Uzziah wasn't just a man of prayer, he was a man of action. He initiated reforms that significantly changed Judah's direction. He reinforced Jerusalem's defenses, constructed towers and fortresses, and even established irrigation systems for agriculture. That's vision. He also improved internal administration, entrusting his sister-in-law Athaliah with palace oversight while he focused on military campaigns. This shows he knew how to delegate and value the strengths of others. A victorious and forward-thinking ruler, Uzziah went on to achieve remarkable success. By seeking the Lord and making wise decisions, he conquered many enemies, including the Philistines and Arabs, expanded Judah's territory, and boosted its economy. And he didn't stop there. He maintained friendly ties with Jeroboam II, king of Israel, increasing Judah's political standing. Uzziah also supported agriculture, helping the rural economy thrive. His prosperity was seen as a divine blessing. As it says in 2 Chronicles 26, the Lord gave him success. Isn't it amazing to think that God was guiding him? Rising pride and a forbidden act. But like many success stories, Uzziah had a dark turn. As his victories and fame grew, so did his pride. He became overconfident, expanded military power, and advanced the production of weapons, believing he was untouchable. That's when things began to unravel. One day he overstepped spiritual boundaries. He entered the temple and attempted to burn incense on the altar, a sacred duty reserved only for priests descended from Aaron. The people stood in shock. But the high priest Zechariah courageously confronted him, reminding Uzziah of his improper actions. Classic example of pride clouding judgment, don't you think? As a direct consequence, 2 Chronicles 26 tells us that leprosy suddenly appeared on his forehead. This divine punishment served as a clear warning about crossing boundaries God himself had set. What began as an act of worship ended in judgment. The fall, from monarch to outcast. Uzziah's rebellion had immediate and severe consequences. After being struck with leprosy, he was declared unclean under Mosaic law and forced to live in isolation. He spent the rest of his life in a separate house, often called the leper's quarters, cut off from the palace and the people. A sobering outcome, right? During this time, he handed the throne over to his son, Jotham, while still alive. This shows the heavy weight of careless decisions, especially when power is misused. His leprosy wasn't just physical punishment. It symbolized God's judgment for misdirected zeal and for overstepping sacred laws. Spiritual consequences on the nation. Uzziah's downfall deeply impacted Judah, though the transition to Jotham's rule was peaceful. Spiritually, it caused a visible divide between the throne and the temple. The priests, led by Zechariah, reasserted their spiritual authority, crucial for maintaining religious order and balance in society. Interestingly, Judah remained economically strong. The Bible states Uzziah retained wealth and fame until his death. That reminds us that even after failure, God's blessings may still remain for a time. But the real question is, how long will they last without obedience? Uzziah's death and legacy. Uzziah lived for about 52 years, dying at the age of 62, still a leper. He was buried in royal land, but not in the traditional tombs of the kings. As 2 Chronicles 26 notes, he had leprosy. That detail is incredibly symbolic. Even in death, his condition served as a reminder of his story. He began well, was richly blessed, but fell out of favor with God and, suffered the consequences. Defining traits of Uzziah: Uzziah was a skilled and forward-thinking ruler. He invested in national security, infrastructure, and economic stability. Early in his reign, he earnestly sought God, a shining example of spiritual leadership. He displayed courage in battle and had a clear strategic vision. But, as we've seen, his downfall came from pride. He ignored God's limits and acted with spiritual arrogance. The leprosy was a visible sign that God rejects pride, even in the midst of success. Lessons from Uzziah's life today. Uzziah's life teaches us many valuable lessons. First, passion without wisdom can be dangerous. Religious zeal is good, but only when paired with obedience. Second, power can corrupt, especially when it breeds arrogance. Seeking God early in life is essential, but it must be a lifelong habit. We must also respect divine boundaries. Crossing them brings judgment. And finally, consequences can be long-lasting, even after repentance. Historical and prophetic context. Uzziah was a contemporary of prophets, like Isaiah and Obadiah. In messianic symbolism, his fall foreshadowed the kind of authority that Christ would one day hold, one who could enter the temple and offer worship without guilt. His story parallels other kings, like Nadab, Menachem, and even Uzziah, who trusted too much in themselves. Conclusion: Uzziah was a blessed king. His story shows that power, when surrendered to God, can do great good, but when pride takes over, it can bring disaster. His leprosy became a symbol of divine judgment. And so, his legacy stands today as a lasting reminder about the dangers of pride, the importance of spiritual boundaries, and the need for lifelong humility before God. If this story inspired you, be sure to share this video with someone who needs to hear about Uzziah. Tap the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button. See you in the next video for more powerful stories like this one.